The Sins of the Sun. David didn't just walk Leo to the basement. He marched him. The violet syrup made Leo's legs feel like rubber, so David half dragged him down the wooden steps, past the washing machine, and into the quiet room, a small windowless storage cellar lined with white egg crate foam. "Sleep," David commanded, pushing Leo onto a mattress in the corner. "I have to secure the house. If you hear noises, it's just me fixing the roof." David slammed the heavy steel door shut. The lock clicked. The deadbolt slid home. Leo drifted into a syrup-induced haze, floating in the dark. He didn't know how much time passed. Minutes? Hours? He was woken by the house screaming. Somewhere upstairs, glass shattered. Not a cup, but a window. A big one. Leo sat up, his heart hammering through the drug fog. He heard thundering footsteps on the floorboards above his head. Then Martha's scream, shrill and terrified. "David! She broke the slider! She's inside!" "Get the kit!" David's voice roared down through the vents. "We leave now!" Leo trembled, pulling his knees to his chest. The squirrel hadn't just got in. It was coming for him. The lock on the basement door turned violently. The door flew open, and David stumbled in. He looked wild. His glasses were gone. His shirt was torn, and he was holding a pump-action shotgun. "Get in the corner," David snarled, kicking the door shut and bracing his back against it. He wasn't the calm, protecting father anymore. He was a cornered animal. "If it gets in, you close your eyes. You don't look. Do you hear me?" "Yes, Dad," Leo whispered. The adrenaline was burning through the syrup, leaving his nerves raw. Something slammed against the other side of the door. The steel groaned against David's back. "She's too strong," David screamed, his eyes darting around the room in panic. "She's crazy!" The hinges screamed, wood splintered, and the door buckled inward, knocking David to the ground. The pale thing descended. It didn't walk, it poured into the room. A blur of gray rags, matted hair, and flashing teeth. To Leo's terrified eyes, it was a demon straight from his nightmares. It shrieked, a sound of pure, agonized desperation. David scrambled backward, raising the shotgun. The shot went wide, blowing a chunk of concrete out of the wall. The deafening noise made Leo scream and cover his ears. Before David could pump the shotgun, the creature was on him. It tackled him with a wet thud, knocking the weapon from his hands. The gun skittered across the floor, spinning to a stop at Leo's feet. The creature was on top of David, clawing at his face, thrashing wildly. It wasn't just attacking, it was winning. It had its bony hands around David's throat, strangling him. David's face turned purple. He kicked and thrashed, his eyes bulging. "Leo!" David choked, his voice bubbling with panic. "Help me! It's killing me! It's going to take you to the dark place!" Leo looked at the gun, then at the monster tearing at his father. "Shoot it!" David screamed, his voice breaking. "Be a brave boy! Save your dad!" Leo picked up the shotgun. It was heavy, cold, and smelled of oil. He aimed the barrel at the mass of gray rags pinning his father to the floor. The monster raised a jagged rock high above its head, ready to bring it down on David's skull. It was going to kill him. Leo was going to be alone. The fortress was falling. Leo squeezed his eyes shut. "Leave him alone!" The blast shook the foundation of the house. The creature was thrown backward, hit square in the chest. It slammed into the furnace and slid to the floor, leaving a smear of bright crimson against the white metal. Silence rushed back into the room, ringing in Leo's ears. David pushed himself up, gasping for air, rubbing his bruised throat. He looked at the dying creature, then at Leo. A slow, cold smile spread across his face. "Good shot, son," David breathed, standing up and dusting off his pants. "Bullseye!" Leo dropped the gun. He felt sick. He looked at the monster, expecting it to dissolve into smoke like the Shadow Man. But it didn't dissolve. It moved. The monster let out a soft, gurgling wheeze. It dragged its body inch by inch across the floor, not toward David, toward Leo. "Don't go near it," David warned, walking over to retrieve the gun. "It's a trick, filthy animal." Leo couldn't stop himself. He took a step forward. The creature reached into its pocket with a trembling hand. It pulled out a small object and slid it across the concrete. It clattered to a stop at Leo's sneaker. It was a red metal truck, the one with the missing wheel. Leo froze. The world tilted on its axis. He looked up at the hand that had thrown it. The wrist was thin, covered in grime, but tied around it, stained with mud and blood, was a neon yarn bracelet. Over, under, pull. Over, under, pull. The memory hit Leo like a physical blow. The syrup barrier in his mind shattered. He remembered the park. He remembered the ice cream. He remembered the woman who smelled like lavender, not the woman who smelled like bleach. He looked at the creature's face. The gunshot had destroyed her chest, but her face was untouched. The hollow black eyes were just blue eyes, wide with pain and overflowing tears. The fangs were just teeth, bloody from biting her tongue. She wasn't a monster. She was a mom who had walked through hell, slept in the mud, and broken into a fortress to save her baby. And he had shot her. "Leo," she whispered. Her voice wasn't a growl. It was a lullaby. "Mom?" Leo choked out, falling to his knees in the blood. She smiled. It was a weak, broken smile, but it was full of love. She reached out and took his hand. Her grip was already fading. "Safe now," she breathed. Her eyes drifted shut. The hand holding Leo's went limp. "Get away from her," David said, his voice cold and clinical. He grabbed Leo by the shoulder. "She's dead. You killed her. You're a killer now, Leo, just like me. Who else is going to love a killer?" She didn't move. He held his mother's hand tight. Sirens wailed outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the basement window. "Police!" a voice shouted from upstairs. "We're coming down!" David cursed. He quickly wiped his eyes, putting on his terrified victim face. He looked at Leo. "Remember, Leo, she broke in. You saved us. You're the hero." The officers rushed in, guns drawn. They saw a dead intruder. They saw a shaken father, and they saw a 10-year-old boy sitting in a pool of blood, holding a toy truck and a dead woman's hand. An officer draped a blanket around Leo's shoulders. "It's okay, son," the officer said gently. "You're safe now. The bad thing can't hurt you anymore." Leo looked up at the officer. Then he looked at David, who was crying fake tears to the sergeant. Leo didn't speak. He stared at the red truck. He realized the trap hadn't broken. He had just sealed it shut. He was the boy in the glass house, and he was the one who had locked the door.